I've lived my whole life in the taiga. Here, fishing isn't just a hobby, it's survival. But there are places even the bravest won't go. One of them is an old channel beyond 3 mountain passes. They say the water there is darker than night, and if you stay too long, you'll hear someone breathing behind you. Last autumn, Nikolai went there. He was an experienced fisherman, and no one ever saw him again. I remember the day we found his boat. It stood by the shore as if someone had just stepped away for a moment. But the gear was scattered, nets torn, and deep marks like bites were gouged into the wooden sides. On the wind came the faint smell of raw meat and wet fur. Back then, I didn't know that in this story. I was destined to be the next one he would choose. The search for Nikolai lasted 3 days. The investigators only shrugged, no signs of a struggle, no tracks in the forest. Only by the water did we find prints. Not quite like a bear's. They were too narrow, with long fingers and deep claws. The locals stayed silent, but I saw fear in their eyes. They knew something, and I had to find out what. I went to Jaeger, the only one who had once lived by that channel. He was silent for a long time, turning his pipe in his hands, then whispered, "It's not a beast. It's someone who used to be human. When the full moon rises, he comes for meat." I tried to laugh, but it caught in my throat when Jaeger added, "And now, he knows your face." Despite everything, I decided to go there myself. The place pulled at me as if it were calling. Autumn was cold, and fog lay over the water so thick you could cut it with a knife. I set up camp on the bank, cast my lines, and waited. The forest was silent, frozen. Only the water sometimes gave a quiet splash, and even in that sound, something felt wrong. That night I woke to a faint rustling. My flashlight lit up a fishing net hanging on a branch. It was torn, and inside were pieces of fish mixed with something that looked like human flesh. My hands went cold. From the forest came a long, low howl that made me realize I wasn't alone here. I grabbed my rifle and slowly moved toward the river. The water was still, but the fog had thickened. And suddenly, in the middle of the channel, I saw a figure. Tall, hunched, covered in dark fur, eyes glowing yellow like embers. It stared straight at me, and I knew in that moment the rifle wouldn't save me. My heart pounded so hard I barely heard my own steps. The figure moved toward me, and I noticed something strange in its movements. There was something human. Each step was quiet, careful, almost cunning. I backed away, but my foot caught on a root, and I fell. When I looked up, it was gone. Only fog remained, and that faint scent of wet fur. I didn't sleep all night. Every rustle made me reach for the rifle. At dawn, I packed my things and decided to head home. But when I got to the boat, I saw those same prints on the damp ground, just like the ones near Nikolai's boat. They led from the forest, straight to my tent. I threw my gear into the boat and pushed off, trying not to look back. But after a few minutes, I heard faint splashing behind me. I turned and saw a shadow appear in the fog. It followed me, never falling behind. I rode until my arms went numb, but the distance never changed. It was as if he was just waiting for me to stop. Suddenly the shadow vanished, only water and silence. I thought it was over and almost relaxed. But then, from the depths, a head surfaced, a maw full of sharp teeth and those same yellow eyes. He rose from the water like a hunter driving his prey. I grabbed the oars with the last of my strength. I don't remember how I reached the shore. When I came to, I was standing on the sand, my boat smashed and half sunken. I was holding my rifle, but the cartridges were gone. Only my footprints remained on the beach, and his, those same long, clawed prints disappearing into the deep forest. I returned to the village, but couldn't sleep. That night, through the window, I saw those same yellow eyes gleam between the trees. He had found me, and now I know running is useless. You can't hide from a werewolf once he's chosen you. They say every village has its legends, but this one is real. I've seen him. I've felt his breath on my neck. And now, when the moon is full again, I'll go back into the taiga. Maybe this time I'll return, or maybe my story will end just like Nikolai's. If you've listened to this story to the end, remember, there are places in the taiga where you must never go, even if you're the best fisherman, because sometimes the prey is watching you from the other side of the river. Subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. I have more stories that will change how you see who truly owns these forests.